Hi, my name's Sean Cordry, and I am the course developer for this course, which means I may or may not be your instructor, but I am the person who designed this course, and I want to make this little video to give you kind of an overview of all your assignments. All right. And so let me start by showing you a picture of your calendar document. Okay. Now, your calendar here is going to be a really important piece of information for you to be able to refer back to over and over again. Okay. So you can see my cursor here. All right. So there's things set 1, sets 2 through 4, sets 5 through 6, etc. there. Test 1, there's your first test. Okay. If you're in this course, this happens to be for the first semester. If you're in the second semester course, your first test will be different. All right. Now I'm actually recording this in the prior to the fall of 2020, and so don't go by these dates. All right. These dates are going to be most likely be different on your calendar. Okay. So we've got sets. Here's your test here and here, for example, and then FYIs. All right, these are like your lab components, for your investigations, and you kind of can see the pattern here. So you're going to have a set of homework due here, 3 sets due here, and 2 sets due here. Now on this day, right here, your test will open. It'll be a 48-hour window. Once you start your test, you have 60 minutes to finish it, unless you're someone who normally qualifies for and receives extra time, in which case go through your usual channels for how you clear that with your instructor, and we can accommodate you here. Okay. So you'll have 60 minutes to do that. And then the next day, your FYI will be due. Okay. Sometimes the FYIs are pretty straightforward. You can get them all done, maybe in just a couple of hours. Sometimes they take more time. Okay. So my advice to you is way over here, at least open the FYI and see what you're up against. Okay. You don't want to open this thing 3 hours before it's due and then have an, oh my gosh, what have I done moment. Okay. All right. Let me scroll. I got to move it over just a little bit. You've got both halves of the semester here. As we move into the other half, you can see the pattern's going to repeat. Homework set, homework set, homework set, and here's the test, and there's an FYI. Okay. Now you will also have a capstone project here. Okay. And it'll be due a few days before the final exam window opens. All right. Then, at this point right here, down here, which is in the middle of whatever your home institution is, this is probably the middle of its final week. Okay. But that's when this course time is officially finished. And right down here, you can see something that says grades due by noon. Okay. Which means you're going to have to work with your instructor quickly if you have anything at this point that you want to bring to your instructor's attention, like, hey, can you look at this? I don't know, anything you might need that affects your grade, it has to be wrapped up here. That's faster than you're at your home institution. Okay. And that's because we have to compile all the grades from your eCampus courses, and then those have to be routed through the TBR back to your home institutions in time for you to get them there in a timely fashion. All right. So once we hit this normal finals week, okay, you need to know that things are going to move at 100 miles an hour at that point. Okay. Now there are details throughout the content section in this little opening, the getting ready portion, that talk to you about the tests, that talk to you about the FYIs. You need to read that carefully. I'm not going to cover that here. My goal here is just to kind of give you an overview. All right. Now, as far as those homework sets, here's how they kind of work. And here's a picture of a document called Readings and Homework Plan. Okay. Now, this one happens to be for the second semester course. So if you're in the first semester course, yours is going to look different. All right. And there are no due dates on here. Okay. The due dates are all on your calendar. But over here, you can see here are those sets I was showing you. All right. So look on the calendar to see when set 1 is due. And then there's going to be a prescribed reading. So you'll know exactly what you need to look at in your book. Okay. And most of the time, it's going to end up being like a whole chapter. Okay. The set number has nothing to do with the number of the chapter. Okay. But inside of mastering, you'll find an assignment that's called oscillations, for example. And you'll be able to see right there what you need to read. Okay. Then in most of the, like in most of the sets, there is a study module. Okay. Now, this is one of these adaptive things where you're going to you're going to answer a question. Then based on how you answer it, it's going to give you another question. So it's personalized learning to help you understand the concepts and do the best that you can. All right. So don't be in a hurry with this. If it says, if you're supposed to give like confidence, how confident you are in an answer, okay, be honest. Okay. If you're not honest, you're just going to be shortchanging yourself, and it might save you a few extra minutes while you're doing the study module. But I guarantee when you get to the homework, doing the homework, you won't have saved any time in the end. Okay. So it's important going into your homework to make sure you have a good understanding of what's going on. Okay. Anyway, so each set's composed of a reading, a dynamic study module, and then some end of the chapter homework problems. And this one actually has 2 in this particular set. Set number 2 has a reading, there's no study module, and then there's some homework. Okay. So anyway, you won't always have a study module, but when you do, make sure you get to it. The study modules are also going to be a great way to help you get ready for taking the tests. Okay. Studying the topics that are covered in your homework questions is also a good way to help you get ready for the test. These topics over here will be the topics that will be on your test. Okay. It won't be all of the topics, but what I'm trying to tell you is that there won't be any topics on the test that you haven't had homework on already. Okay. I don't believe in surprises. There's no point in doing that. That's not very kind. And there's no educational value in doing that to you in this context. So that's how you can kind of know. So if you read something in your chapter and there's no homework over it, that just means you're not going to be asked a question about it on the test. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, there you go. So I think that's enough of an overview. Again, there are more details within the Getting Started module, which you need to look at. Okay, there's some tips for how to make the most out of doing your readings. Okay, there are smart ways to read, and there are, I won't say dumb, but inefficient ways to read. So there's some tips in there on that. Tips about how to complete your study modules in the best way. And then some tips about doing your homework problems as well. Okay, so make sure you check all of that out. If you have any questions, your instructor is there to help you out. Okay, keep that line of communication open with your instructor. They like hearing from you. Okay, they're going to try and get back to you in a timely fashion. Okay, so again, if you've got any questions, route through them. Okay.